Hello, welcome back everyone. This is Amy, the Mystic Rose Tarot. So we are entering our second decan of Cancer, and this is going to be the reading to cover the time frame of July 1st or 2nd to July 11th or 12th. So again, the decans represent about 10 days in each astrological month. And we already did the first decan of Cancer, which was the Two of Cups, or Two of Water. And I will briefly show the cards that I worked with on the previous video. So this is what we had here, Two of Vessels. And this is from the Wildwood Tarot. A beautiful feeling here with the Two of Water from the Dreams of Gaia. And then here, the merging of two like-minded souls and energy. Two of Cups here from the Gill Tarot. So these are the decks that I will be working with for this month of Cancer. And I will be changing up the decks based on their elemental energy of each of the signs, and also their meaning. You know, what's the characteristics of each of these signs. So here, as we enter our second decan of Cancer, we are looking at the Three of Vessels, Three of Water, and Three of Cups. So as we saw in the previous cards, the Two of Cups, we're seeing the early stages of an amalgamation, of meeting that particular energy that just connects with you so well. And it's basically here, I'll show this card here, it's just at that moment. It's that instantaneous, like when you lock eyes or when the heart just like goes, oh yes, this is where we need to be. When we move into here, our Three of Vessels, Three of Water, or the Three of Cups here, we're seeing this energy now moving into action. This is a representation of what is taking place inside. And with this kind of energy here, the Three of Cups, Three of Water, tends to show a joining. We're sharing this energy outwards with other people who are experiencing a similar shift, like a shift of release and a shift of celebration. Let's focus here on our Three of Vessels here. Okay, we've got the key word of joy. Now, I just want to back up because we also have joy here. I want to just back up and say this is not these readings that I do. If you follow like an astrological calendar, or if you have an astrological date book, these decans do not fall in line with what's going on currently with the astrological placement of signs. Like our sun's in Cancer right now, but we also have the other planets that are being held in other different signs that are putting their influence. But when I do these readings, I like people to understand the influences that these cards here of the decans can come into play when it comes to working with certain situations or experiencing something. Here, the Three of Vessels, again, we're seeing these different cups, we're seeing three different experiences, three different levels of feelings and emotions, and this is being shared. We want to celebrate and exchange the feelings that we have to learn and to grow from each other. This card here, this is one of my favorite cards from the Dreams of Gaia. What we see here is we see the ribbons or binds. They're completely broke free. If you look closely, you could see that they were torn, like they've been slowly been working their way loose. until that moment when the heart and the mind is just like, okay, let's have this liberation of the self. Let's let go of any issues that we've had in the past, and let's grow. Let's move on. And we have this confidence here and security of being in the water. Water is very nurturing and soothing. One thing I want to point out as I break down these cards here, book that I read about a year ago, and I use it all the time when I go through the Decans for reference, is T.Susan Chang's 36 Secrets. There's also 36 Faces that is out there. It's going to be in another reprint, hopefully by the end of the year. And this book here by T.Susan Chang breaks down all the Decans based on her knowledge using Golden Dawn information, her own experience, and putting her own perspective into it. And I want to read something here. I'm going to show it to you as well. Yeah, I know how well you can see this. For the Three of Cups, she uses the Magician. Because for this decan, it's Mercury in Cancer. So Mercury, as we know, involves the mind, the intellect, how we perceive things, mental energy. And the Chariot, as we know, is ruled by Cancer. So I like here, and I underlined it, she writes here, the Magician represents the connection between as above and so below. The Chariot represents, okay, remember, Magician's Mercury, the Chariot's Cancer. The Chariot represents the vessel which bears the soul between above and below. So we have the Chariot meaning here, that movement, the movement of the soul. How the Chariot, how the cups, the vessels, the waters, how that energy is being moved in that environment. And also, what is the thinking, the processing of that individual while going through all these shifts. So the changes that we're seeing here is the connection of energy that is happening above the mind, the processes, and below our subconscious, how we're feeling about things. This, we're seeing the action taking place in that environment. And the same here with the Gill Tarot. We have here the Three of Cups. And the beauty of this card here, again, we have the key word, is we're seeing the number 3 here. Okay, we're starting to see this building up of energy, this slow forming of a union. We're starting to build up this energy. We're building up this momentum emotionally. But what I like here is just the locking of the 3 with these 3 cups. And look at the energy here. If you slow down your thinking and look at this card, we see this, the water, the life force, blood, if you want to say, being poured into this cup, coming out of the main cup. And this is all encompassing. Okay, this is a beautiful card, deeper meaning as opposed to what we see here with these other 3 different representations of the 3 of water, cups, and vessels. We're seeing this, we're seeing the union, the celebration of this energy here, joining as one. We're seeing a joining in, again, celebration, release, freedom. And the same here. We have this, anything that was holding us back has now been released and let go, and the flow. Everything is now moving. Everything can now flow easily. The mind as well. So with these representations for this decan, second decan of Cancer, we're seeing the mind and the heart in action starting, taking shape. We're seeing movement. Okay, remember here, the Two of Cups. We're seeing the initial meeting, the initial connection. With the 3 here, we're starting to see this emotion. We're starting to see it take action. Okay, and then when we go into our final decan for Cancer, when we go into the 4 of Cups, we're going to see the challenge or anything that comes our way that can maybe get us to feel a little bit maybe too much of this energy. But I will save that for the next decan discussion for the Cancer 3 decan. So this is the breakdown, okay, for these cards to represent the second Cancer of decan, or the second decan of Cancer. And another thing I'd like to point out is, and I mention this whenever I get to the second decan of any sign, I always feel the second decan is a very strong representation of that sign. It's just from what I read about all the signs. Everything seems to fall closer and characteristic for the nuances of that sign. Okay, so Cancer we always see as being, they have that hard shell. Sometimes they could come across cold because they're protecting themselves emotionally. But inside, they are soft. But it takes a lot to reach that part of the Cancer. You really have to win their trust. They have to be trusting to open themselves to people. And so these are the different stages that Cancer goes through. Now these decans and the dates that I've been given is in line with the Golden Dawn. There are some decks where the planetary placements could be different. The dates are pretty much the same, give or take 1 or 2 days. So this is going to be shown for July 2nd to the 12th of July. And you can use this energy during that time frame to get better reference, to get a different way of taking care of a situation. Not to be frivolous and like irresponsible, like, oh yeah, I'm so happy, I could work through this easily. Be realistic at the same time, but also see the options, see what's out there. Look at both sides of the situation. Okay, and again, that's that second decan of Cancer, Mercury in Cancer. We're looking at those energies of the mind, the amalgamation of the mind and the heart. Okay, and how we use how those two forces are joined and how they are being used to take care of a situation. Okay, so I am going to be doing 3 readings for each of these cards to take us into our second decan. So I am shuffling right now, and I should put this other card in here. Okay, and see if it comes up. The other card was what I had out for our third decan. Okay, so just so you can see I'm shuffling. Let's try that again. Okay. So I'm going to put this card here, or that deck there. Let me shuffle here as well. It's kind of hard because this webcam is not really a camera that I work with. It really makes it difficult to kind of get everything into frame, and as you can see, shuffle. So let's do this again. Okay, I'm going to have to do this off camera because I have more space off to the side. Okay. Shuffling our dreams of Gaia. Okay. So I'm going to do this here. Move this card up. So each one card that I'm pulling for each deck will represent the energy for this week. So this will be the reading for this second decan. Okay, and then lastly we've got the Gill Tarot. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Let me put this card in here as well. Okay. All right, one more shuffle because I had one of the cards out from the Gill Tarot. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm going to pull one card from the top, and this will be the reading for July 1st, 2nd to July 12th. I know this isn't quite in line, but here we go. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, 6 of stones, or 6 of earth, fire, it's Leo energy. This is actually pentacles with the, or coins. With the Gill Tarot, some of the suits are kind of hard to decipher if they're, if they're coins or if there are wands. But if you work with the deck, the Gill Tarot, you could sort of see which ones are coins. Swords, wands, and cups are pretty obvious. So here, okay, I'm going to move this so we could focus on this energy, okay? So here we have our 3 of vessels meeting our 6 of stones. Okay. Let me put this here. Sorry for, there we go. So now you can focus on the energy of that. So we see opposing forces taking place here during this second decan for this year. We got 6 of stones meeting the 3 of vessels here. So one way to see this is for this week, how can we take this energy? How can we take this energy and work through a situation like this? Okay. The news has been filled with stuff recently where this card can sort of be very prominent for a lot of people, and feeling like there's been a sense of taking advantage, a sense of taking someone's pride and rights and their well-being has been challenged. What can we do here? We don't want to stay in a situation like this. Okay, 6 of stones or 6 of pentacles. With the Wildwood Tarot, it takes a different approach, but we're seeing a potential overuse of these energies. Like, we're not using our resources correctly. Okay, we've been utilizing them in a way that has not been very productive. Okay, the choices, the energy that has been put towards something hasn't really quite worked out the way that it should. Okay, we see destruction going on here in the background. Okay, so we need to we need to really see in a little bit more detail. We have to put a little bit more thought into this. What went wrong? Okay, we have here a broken rake. We have these hives here. And bees are seen as workers. They do a lot of work to build up and save their resources. But here this hasn't been maintained. It hasn't been, it has not been taken care of. It hasn't been used properly. It's been wasting away. So with this card here specifically, we need to change. Okay, and I think all of us know that. We need to make changes here in the way that we see things. We can talk, we could do actions, but we need to start seeing results, because sometimes what we think is going to make enough difference needs to be done in a different way. All the energy that's put into something and we're not getting any results, we have to stop and see, what are we doing wrong? How are these resources not coming to benefit those who are involved? Okay, and this applies, to personal life, work, and also globally. Okay, so remember this. I mean, considering this card, I'm not saying to celebrate the exploitation of things, but we have to start thinking differently and feeling differently about things that have taken place. We have to make these changes. Okay, I have here King of Fire, normally assigned to the sign of Leo. And this, I think, is a wonderful transition, because I got two cards in the relation of Earth, the stones, and the Seven of Pentacles, or Seven of Coins. We have 6 and 7. Here, the King of Fire. What's Leo all about? Leo is all about vitality, excitement, very creative. They like to be at the forefront of things. They like to be the person that people are drawn to. There's just something very natural about the energy of someone who's very fiery, specifically Leos. And this Leo energy, as we go into Leo the later part of July, this is where we could take this energy from this card. I know I'm only talking for this Decan, from Decan week from July 1st, 2nd to the 12th. And we need to find something that really excites us and motivates us to move forward. Okay, I was talking about changes. We need to start looking differently about this. But this King of Fire, there's this influence. If we could find that drive and that excitement and that belief that whatever we're doing is going to, is going to make the difference. The challenge comes in is how long do you want to put that work into it? Okay. Leo is a fixed sign, so once it puts that energy into something, it is set. It sees the potential. It sees the energy of what they're working in and the potential of growth that comes from it. That's what we need here with this King of Fire. Okay, and then showing this card here. This is what's going on inside. We've got this fiery, excited energy here, and emotionally, it's giving us this room to just be freely expressive of what we feel is of great importance to us. Another thing with the King of Fire, very proud. One of the weaknesses, though, for the King of Fire is if someone criticizes. And depending on how strong this fiery energy is, it could dampen it, it could weaken it, it could extinguish it. This is strength at its ultimate. We have the other fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But Leo, I feel, is the sign that because of its fixity, it's very hard to move. It's very hard to change. They'll just keep going, but also they also have to watch how much of that energy is being expended out. It could be too excessive. All right, then here we have the Seven of Coins. Okay, so we have delay. Okay, we have the opposing here of joy. And with delay here, with the Seven of Coins, I don't see it as like a detour of some sort. I feel like this is a time to sort of take a moment and see how things are processing. If we are moving from this point here of the Six of Stones, okay, realizing or not really paying attention to our resources, and knowing that we need to make this change. And I like also the transition of the fire in the background. I mean, it's destructive, but see how we can utilize something destructive, moving here with the King of Fire, and doing something that is creative, that's more proactive, not destructive or inactive. Okay, so with the Seven of Coins, what I see here is to just take a moment and see how everything's being processed. We're seeing movement at this point. We're starting to see growth, but always do a check-in. Check in with yourself. Check in if this is whatever situation you're involved in, whether it's with yourself or with someone else or a group of people. Just kind of see how things are forming. Okay. And with Cancer, emotionally, maybe just slow down and check in and see how people are doing. You know, if they are part of this process of the Three of Vessels, you know, things that you are experiencing. Don't forget about other people. And that shouldn't be too hard with Cancer, but sometimes because Cancer can have so much going on inside, they can come across withdrawn, and they may come to other people like they're not really thinking about the other person or feeling about the other person. Okay, it's just a moment of a timeout with the Seven of Coins. Okay, a time of, you know, looking back, seeing how things have been formed. So again, it's 7, so we're seeing this progress taking place, but how are we feeling? Okay, and I like the placement here of the coins. They're placed here at the bottom, but we see a slow movement of things happening. So again, when this fiery energy comes so strong, we do have to put it in containment, and just kind of see what's been going on. Okay, but this card here is very important because this is the eye opener for this reading. Okay, so look and see if the situation that you've been in is just not, it hasn't been working in your favor. Look at the environment, look at what's around you. Why is it not working? Okay, something has not been maintained, has not been managed. So this is quite opposite of the Six of Pentacles, because Six of Pentacles we normally see as a growth from the Five of Pentacles or Five of Coins. We see the Six of Giving, but here we're seeing almost a scene similar to the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so again, these are all different systems. So don't expect an RWS interpretation to come from these cards. I work with non-system decks because it leaves it open more so to fall out of the way of reading RWS and so on and so forth, because these images, they provide so much more, they take a different perspective. So that's what I love about working with non-system decks. Anything that isn't RWS, anything that isn't heavily Doth influenced or Marseille, I like the amalgamation of some of these systems that are being created by deck creators. That they have their own twist. They put in their own perspective of those different systems. So that's what we have here. Okay, so for our second decan for Cancer, I'm looking at and feeling very strongly the merging of, and this is the action part, merging of the heart and the mind. We're seeing how these energies are moving us emotionally. We're getting like a wake-up call. And as that energy moves, and emotionally we start feeling lighter and we feel freer, we start expanding, we start opening up a little bit more with the mind. We start seeing things a little bit more clearly, understanding situations more. Okay, remember, when something is contracted, there's no force. The hands, the fists, the heart, the stomach, anything that's tight, there's no flow. Okay, and we need to slowly open that up so we can let that life force that we have here, we can have this movement move in and out from the cups so that we can start feeling the way that we would like to feel. Feelings that would better serve us. Alrighty, so that's your reading for July 1st, 2nd to July 11th, 12th. I will be back after that date of the 12th, probably the 13th, 14th, to wind down the third decan of Cancer. Any questions that you have, feel free to look back at the previous readings that I've done for the decans. I just started to go back to decan readings during the month of, I think I did it for Gemini. So go back, look at my playlist or look at my videos, and you'll see the order for this year, 2022, when I start doing the decan readings. So this is our reading for the week. These are the cards here, the minor arcana that represents that second decan. So first decan is the Two of Cups. Our second decan is the Three of Cups, water or vessels. And then our third decan will be the Four of Cups, vessels and water. Alrighty, so thank you for watching. And let people know about this channel if you're interested in the readings that I've been doing thus far and the content that I'm sharing. I have more coming along the way, trying to squeeze time in to create these videos and readings for everyone when I can, but I like to stay in line with the dates of each of the decans so we can work with that energy. Another thing too I like to tell people is when I do these readings, take a look at the astrological chart. Where is the placement of Mercury? Where is the placement of the moon? So on and so forth. We're now, as I record this, we are now in our moon in Leo. So this King of Fire can be very prominent for this week. And when we get into our decan for July 1st, 2nd, we're going to be with the tail end energy of Leo, and then we start moving into Virgo. So Virgo's Earth, we could probably take the influence of that Earth sign of Virgo, which is also ruled by Mercury, and maybe use the influence of Mercury for these readings as well, for the Six of Stones and the Seven of Pentacles. And like I mentioned, for this decan, we're talking about Mercury and Cancer. So let's start feeling and connecting with our heart and mind so that we can move in a more free-flowing way, but also very open and very expressive. Okay, but also, be mindful of how things are happening. Okay, if things need to be taken care of, stop, take that moment, okay, and address any situations emotionally of what's going on. Okay? And then you work from there. All right. Have a wonderful week, everyone. I will see you all again soon. Any questions, again, you know where to reach me. I do readings. You can reach me via my website. I have all the prices there and the types of readings that I do. Okay. Thank you for your support, everyone, and have a wonderful week. I will see you again soon.